Hey everyone, Josh here with Fresh Start Customs, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a new wall-mounted drink holder. This one's bigger than the other ones that I've already released. The other ones I've released are 1/8 inch material. This is 1/4 inch material. I'm calling this the heavy duty series. This is going to be geared towards drinks that are all the way up to 3.5 inches by default. If you have to make it slightly bigger, there's going to be a little bit of wiggle room, but not too much more. This is going to feature like red Solo cups, McDonald's cups, even those really big cups that kind of slim down towards the bottom a little bit. That looks something like this towards the bottom here. That's what it's geared towards. So let's jump into this. We're going to build this. I'm going to show you some pointers and some things to look out for along the way. First off, you want to mask your wood. I unmasked it all now that it's been printed, but this is what it'll look like when it cuts out. So if you don't mask your wood, it's going to have this nice burn mark around here. If you didn't mask it, you can sand that down to get rid of it. But otherwise, you can just peel it off, and it'll be nice and clean underneath, as you can see right there. On the back, I didn't mask mine, but you can mask yours. Like I said, if you didn't, sand it down. It'll look nice and creamy, just like that. Now, with all that out of the way, this is a very tight fit design, which means all of these tabs are going to fit very tightly. You probably won't be able to get them all in by hand. You will need to use a rubber tip hammer. This is pretty essential, and also making sure your material thickness is the exact material thickness that's needed is 0.2 inches. So I know it says 1/4 inch, but 0.2 is the exact thickness of it. You'll use a digital caliper to measure your material thickness. With all that out of the way, there is also some options with this. So you have an optional glue on top and an optional glue on front with a replacement leg here. What I mean by that is you can have all the legs look the same, which are these 7 here, plus your back mount, which will be the same here, but it's a special leg. Or you can replace the very front one with this one here, and it has a glue-on front logo. So you can put like your company logo, you can put this one that comes by default like this, whatever you want it to look like. I'm going to use this one just to have some like customization to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to just follow step by step with the instructions. You'll see like a 3D set of instructions. So we'll come back to this here in just a second. And we're going to work on this back bracket first. So what we're going to do is we're going to assemble this piece. And it's going to look something like this. And you're just going to tap that together. You can choose whichever way you want on this side. Just because these two pieces are the same on both sides, it's only going to go in one layer. You're going to want to make sure the long piece is down. This is going to go down into 2 layers of wood. So that's why the long pieces are all on the bottom here, and then the small tabs are all on the top. So we're just going to assemble that. We're going to line this up and then hit it in with a rubber tip hammer if needed. And then if it's a little loose, you can add glue in there. For mine, I'm not going to add any glue just for this example, and I'm not going to glue on the optional pieces for this example here, but I will point those out after I assemble it here. Alright, so as you can see, those went in pretty smoothly for me. I didn't really have to tap too much. I'd probably want to use glue on mine. If yours is just a little bit thicker, it'll probably be a little bit tighter. If it's a little bit looser or thinner, it'll be a little bit looser. So just a heads up on that. So now that we got that out of the way, this is the first step. You just build this little leg here. And then we're going to come back to this at the very end to put your mount on. This is going to be the last piece you put on is this back mount. And I'll show you why after we assemble this here. So we'll move this out of the way since that's going to be our last piece. And then what we're going to need is we're going to need the very bottom piece and one of these little jet out pieces here. So right here is the very bottom piece, and this is going to be the piece that's going to go above it here. So it's going to be like this, and you're going to assemble your legs in place. Like I said, I'm not going to use this extra leg here because I'm going to use the customization option. So I'm going to just get rid of that piece entirely. And we're going to have 7 pieces total, plus the 8th leg is this back bracket here. This back bracket is going to go on this back piece here. we'll just start off with that piece. What I like to do is just set the bottom piece off to the side for right now. We'll come back to that. But we're gonna just assemble this right here, just like this. Tap it in. Just make sure the bottom here is flush for right now. And then we're gonna get back to these back tabs in just a second when we put this next piece on. I wanna show you guys a trick that'll help you sink these pieces in. But first off, we want to get them halfway in first, just like this, where it's halfway in, and then we'll sink the rest in later. So we're going to work around. I know this is going to be my front piece. I'm going to save this one probably for last, just in case there's any tight areas here. So I'm going to work my way around these edges here and just put all these in. Alright, so now that I got this in, as you can see, some of mine are a little bit loose, so this must be a little bit thinner than 0.2 inches. Like I said, you can always adjust for the kerf if you need to, if your laser has more or less. Mine tends to have a little bit more, so I just based it off of what most people will use, so that'd be that 0.2. Now what you can do is you can either place this on top, and then hopefully you can just tap them all straight down. But if you're having a hard time, you can actually flip this upside down like this, and then you can either try and line it up like this upside down, which sometimes works. But what I like to do is just hold off on this for right now and tap on some of these edges very lightly, just until they start to poke through. And then once they start to poke through just slightly, then that gives this a nice starting point. And then you can just kind of start this on here, kind of like this. And then depending on how tight yours is you're going to have to give it a little bit more force or a little less force. You want to have the hammer do a lot of the work for you, where it kind of bounces on its own. So you're going to be kind of like light like this. You see how I'm barely holding it and the hammer weight is doing the work. And then sometimes you can apply more force with your hand if you need to in order to get those joints flat. So I'm going to hit this one. This one seems a little bit not flat there. And then if you need to, you can flip it back over and then do the same thing on the opposite side and just make sure every single one of them are nice and flat and in there. And then, like the instructions say, what I would recommend doing before putting all that down is gluing inside and around all these edges and tabs, because this is going to be where all your weight is going to be focused on. Obviously, like I said, I'm not going to be using any glue for mine. I'm going to go back and take this back apart later. But I just want to show you guys for the video and the sake of time, because glue takes a while to dry. We're going to try this all without any glue. Like I said, there is a few of them are a little bit loose for mine, so I would have to adjust for kerf. But they are all pretty solid in there now at this point. And then we still got our top to hold together that we're going to put on next. So we're going to grab the top now, which is this piece here, and then we're going to do the same thing and assemble this. So I'm going to just do a quick fast forward time lapse here. And as you guys can see, I got the top on, and if you noticed, it took me a little while to line this up. You want to make sure every single tab is lined up perfectly before you start smashing it down. And you want to tap it in a circular motion. I would probably start on the back bracket where I did, where you sink this down just a little bit until it catches the very top edge, and then just work your way around in a circle and keep doing that until it's completely flush. Don't just bash one end all the way in where it's completely flat, or else you will probably crack these edges if you just go hard on one end and then just start hammering down hard on all the other ends. You want to do it in a gradual motion here. So just work your way around, just like that, and then you'll be good to go. So as you can see, this is getting pretty firm. I don't have any glue in there right now. I would still recommend gluing in between these two sections here, because your weight's going to be bearing down on this. But right now it still feels pretty rock solid. Lastly, we are going to put on this back bracket now. This is going to be your last piece here, and then you're going to assemble that just like you did the others. Just line up the slots. It is very important that you have this smaller area pointed up, because once your screw comes in, the screw is going to be resting in this little groove here, so it locks into place. So just make sure you have that pointed up like this. And you're just going to line them up, and then you're going to tap it into place. And you can do that either downwards like this or upwards like this, whichever way you feel more comfortable with. I'm going to go upwards just to line it up so it's easier to line up so I can see what I'm doing here. All right, so as you can see, I got that all lined up. It's going to look like it doesn't line up because they are all tight curve fit. It's going to look like it doesn't fit in there. If you've never worked with a tight fit before, you will need that. That's why you need this rubber tip hammer. There's no way that you're going to get that on by hand. And it's going to look like it's not going to fit. But all of those pressure joints, once you have it lined up perfectly, and you start hitting it with that hammer, it's going to start sucking into place, and then they'll start fitting better and better, just like you watched me do there. And then it's all going to lock into place. It's going to be really tight. As you can see, I'm pulling on that. It's nice and secure, even without glue. I do recommend using glue on all of these areas just as extra strength, because you can have a lot of weight bearing down on this. But even without glue, it is still pretty secure. I'm just going to pressure fit and push all this together with my hands one more time just to make sure. But technically, you're good to go right like this. You can use it right like this if you want to, but you do have all these extra options as well. So let me go over some options here. Now we're going to be moving on to your different options that are available for this. I realized that this was out of frame in some of those shots, so I got an area where it's more in frame now, and I can actually view the finder here. So let me really touch base, because I know this was out of frame here when I was explaining that these little short edges here that for the screws are going to be pointed to the top. That's where those screws are going to rest on. I wanted to just reclassify and show that. So the shorter edge of the screw holes are going to be pointed up. So just wanted to re-clarify that. And now we're going to talk about some options that you have that are available for this. This comes with an option where you can glue a thin cork sheet in there. So you can use like a thin sheet of cork, cut out the optional glue-in part, which I don't have here. I'm going to do that with another version that I have coming up. I'm going to print them all at once just to save some time and material layout. And then you also have the option of covering up these top tabs. This is also a part that I cut off originally in the original film, but I wanted to refilm here. So this is going to be the optional top here to cover up your tabs. You can engrave on top of this with like a custom saying or logo. And then you will see these two back tabs. The reason why I didn't cover those up is because sometimes if you glue can shift even when you have it clamped, and I didn't want it to be too close to that edge to pop the mount off. So this looks great with this on. I'm probably going to glue this onto mine. For the sake of the video, I'm not going to glue it on right now. And then you also have this optional glue on front, and that is with the optional leg that we used in this one. So if you want the regular leg, for example, here's that regular leg. If you like this style better, where you just want to replace it with this one, you can do that. I wanted some customization, so you can just glue that right on the front there. If you don't like the depth of this, you can just engrave right here on the front too. So whatever you want to do, if you don't mind wasting just a little bit more material and you like that depth look like I do, you can do that. So there is all the different options that are available. Now let's go ahead and put this to the test. I'm going to just get rid of the options for right now. And I'm going to show you what this all works with. So as you can see, this works with like McDonald's cups. Nice big, large McDonald's cups here. In this heavy duty series, I was basically shooting for these larger cups that this one's meant for. The smaller 1/8" material is meant for cans and bottles. So with this one being so large, I'm going to show you what the cans and bottles look like here. Or a can. I don't have a bottle with me right now. But as you can see, there's a lot of room here. The light series, the 1/8" one, is made specifically for cans and bottles, so there ain't going to be as much room. The one thing I do like about this is you can pretty much put any drink you want in here. Even this, if you're in like a rowdy bar or something, these are on the wall. If someone hits that, it's still not going to spill anything. It's going to just knock it on the edge at most. So that is nice that this actually does work for cans still. I'm glad to see it. This should work for red Solo cups and regular like bar cups too. And then the biggest thing is going to be one of these massive giant drinks. Now it's going to be contingent on the drink having these beveled edges at 2.7 inches from here to here, because that is going to allow it to sink down into here. But around the edges, I can't remember if I made this for 3.75 or 3.5. That will be listed in the item's description. And I'll go ahead and throw that on the screen right up here once I know that for sure. I know I keep messing that up. But we're going to put this Bubba drink in here. We're going to just drop it there. Look how perfect that fits. It stops just before this beveled edge. Fits perfect. Now the real test is going to be lifting this up on the wall. I'm going to be doing a wall mount video of this later, probably tomorrow. It's getting kind of late now, but I want to show you guys. I'm going to just use my hand on this back clamp here. It's going to be mounted with just this bracket here. I just got this bracket only, lifting up. There's absolutely no glue on this right now, and this can is completely full, or this water bottle is completely full of water right now. So there's probably a good 2.5 pounds, I would say, all holding weight with no glue as of right now. But per the instructions, I do recommend adding glue here. That way, if any of your joints or kerf is off, that extra glue can hold that extra weight. I'm probably going to be taking off the bottom and adding glue to mine just because it never hurts to have extra strength on it. But as you can see, that is holding that really, really well. So we're going to call this a success. And then we're going to do a video of this out in the tool shed later tomorrow when it's not as late. And we'll catch you guys then. All right, you guys, it is the next day. I'm out in the tool shed now. As you can see, I got this mounted on the wall. This is what it looks like. I went ahead and glued on the accessories here. I still don't have the center cork piece. That is going to be future. I'm going to print that off in the future with the other designs here. I'm going to show you guys this on the wall. I'm going to start putting in different types here. As you can see, we got a nice big, large size McDonald's cup. I'm going to switch that out for the little tiny can here. Show you what that looks like. I'm sorry for the camera moving. I'm just freehanding all of this right now. And then lastly, what we designed this for are these really large cups here. This is a full cup right now, and it is holding all of that weight perfectly with this heavy duty series here. It fits in there pretty much perfect. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoy this new design here. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.